Check, check, check. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And there was terrible news today about these National Guard shootings. I haven't seen enough of it. I had school today, so I haven't been able to get into it. So I'm going to continue with our football week. I'll get to that on Friday as more news comes in. But we're going to talk about the extravaganza that's coming. Tomorrow, as I said yesterday, will be as football cinematic as it gets. And we start off Thanksgiving tomorrow with your traditional old school Lion-Packer matchup. And this is going to be a game that's going to, I think, tell us where the Lions are and where the Packers are. The Lions have easily the most dynamic, explosive player in football in Gibbs. Unfortunately for the Lions, they have a head coach who has assumed the play calling, who does not understand play calling, who is not a good play caller whatsoever. And he's underutilizing his best player. The Lions, much like the Eagles, much like the San Francisco 49ers, the Lions are a team that must establish the run first with that big offensive line, push teams around, and get their game going and get their game plan going through the run game. They cannot win games with their quarterback. Jared Goff, you're not going to win with his arm. You're going to win with Gibbs. And for some reason, Dan Campbell just doesn't understand that or refuses to understand it. And I know that they've won a couple of games with him since he's been calling the plays, but he's just not very good at it. And I think for the better of the team, he should renounce his role as play caller and give the responsibilities back to the offensive coordinator and get Gibbs going again. This guy, I mean, I don't condone gambling. I would never advertise it on this channel. Well, I probably would if the money was right. But I would suggest not gambling. But I was looking at some of the prop bets for him. I mean, for Gibbs, if you don't take Gibbs for those numbers that they're popping up, and there are different numbers at different sites, you're nuts. If you give him the ball enough, he can explode, and he's one of these guys that can run for 100 yards and receive for 100 yards. You can't stop him at times. The Lions just don't feed him the ball enough. I think they will tomorrow. I think this will be a up and down game, back and forth. I'm not really impressed with either team's defenses when it comes to stopping the run. And I think this will be a litmus test for the Packers. I think the Lions win this one. I think the Lions are just better. And I think they're probably going to win 31-27, something around those lines. But that the start of tomorrow's great matchups will be a pretty good game. I think Lions-Packers will be a very good game. But Campbell is going to have to under no circumstances relinquish his role as play caller because he's just not good at it. He just doesn't know what he's doing. He's a very good head coach at delegating. He's not a good offensive coordinator. We've seen that. I mean, there are times. I mean, last week you just shake your head what the guy does. So he must give his offensive coordinator the duties of play calling again, and it'll be better for the team. It'll be better for the offensive coordinator. Gibbs must handle the game. He must control the game. You cannot put the game in Goff's hands because you'll lose, especially in a big game. And Goff's just not that. He's just not that type of player. He's not that type of quarterback that can assume the role of put the team on his shoulders and win a game for you. He's not going to do that. He can't. It's nothing against him. He's just not that guy. And that's fine. He's gotten you to winning seasons, but you have the players that can bring you to the next level. And Gibbs is that player. Use him, dude. Okay. 4:00 when most people are eating, I guess. This is the game that everybody is talking about. This is the game that is circled around everybody's schedule. The Chiefs and Cowboys both have similar records. Chiefs are 6-5. Cowboys are 5-1. They are going to have to. Both of these teams have to win this game tomorrow. The Chiefs, for the first time in I think 10 years, probably will not win their division. The Chiefs, for the first time in a very, very long time, will not have a home game in the playoffs. At least that's the way it looks right now. The Cowboys were staring at the abyss last week, most likely missing the playoffs had they lost that game, and they came back from 21-0 down. I don't know what Nick Sirianni said to that team at halftime, but the Eagles they looked unstoppable in the first half, and they fell flat like a Japanese chick's ass. They just didn't perform at all. And the game had so many crazy fumbles and interceptions and this and that. It was just amazing to watch. Do I believe in the Cowboys after that 21-0 comeback? No. No, they won't do that against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to roll tomorrow. The Cowboy defense is not very good. I don't care about the additions they made on the front seven. I don't care about that. They're not going to stop Mahomes at all. At least I don't think so. The Chiefs have to win. The Chiefs are better. The Chiefs have a better coach. Reed's better than Schottenheimer. And they most certainly have the better quarterback. Dallas's only chance in this game is if they run the football with authority and with anger. I don't know if they can do that. Now, the Chiefs' defense isn't very good either. They're here and there. They haven't been very good this year. And the Chiefs' run is probably over. But they're not going to go away with a whimper. I think they're going to win this game in double digits tomorrow. You know, the Cowboys will score 24, but the Chiefs will probably score 38. So 38-24 Chiefs. I just don't think the Cowboys have enough. I just don't think the Cowboys have enough to stop this team when the nitty-gritty is on the line. And I don't believe in this Cowboy team. I never believed in Dak Prescott. Giving him $40 million was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But the Chiefs have to win this game, and the Chiefs win games that they have to win, and they'll win this one tomorrow. In the big one, which I still believe that tomorrow you will see record numbers for this game. I think this game will put up not Super Bowl numbers, but conference championship game numbers. I think so. 35, 40 million people watching tomorrow, this game? Absolutely. I could see that. I could see that big time. We then have another great game. A tremendous game between the Ravens and the Bengals. And the Ravens and the Bengals, of course, I didn't make a banner for it. Of course not. But this game is very, very interesting to me. Every article that you're going to read, every ESPN, Fox News, all that, Fox Sports, they're all talking about Burrow looking sensational back in practice. The guy looks like he hasn't missed a step. And that's all fine and dandy. They get Chase back for the game. Apparently, T. Higgins is out. So they're missing a big wide receiver. But what we forget when we talk about how unbelievable Joe Burrow is and how great Jamar Chase is, and he's coming back from that stupid suspension, which he should be ashamed of himself. We forget that this Bengal defense is as putrid as it gets. They can't stop anybody. They don't even look like they try to stop anybody. And they're probably going to get, unless they come up with a big run, they might get their head coach fired. And it all depends on their performances over the next few weeks. Starting tomorrow. If Burrow comes out and he's throwing dimes and they beat the Ravens big, and I don't think they will. I think the Bengals will win, and I'll tell you why. But I think it'll be a classic game tomorrow night. I really do. And the only reason why I think that is because Jackson is hurt again. And supposedly, from what I've heard from my reading, this toe injury is something that isn't going to go away and might require surgery at the end of the year. This guy is going to be his window, his athletic window, I believe, is starting to close rapidly. He cannot take the hits and he cannot play the physical game that we're all used to seeing him play. He's beginning to break down, and this is what happens with these quarterbacks who scramble and run around first, and not the pocket quarterback. By the time they hit 30, this gets injured. This hurts. That hurts. Maybe they tear up a knee. Maybe the elbow, the shoulder. It all starts to fall apart. It's just like a woman. After they hit 30, 31, it's downhill from there. You don't see guys like Lamar Jackson playing in their late 30s, early 40s. That's the only reason why I think that this game will be close. Why I think it will come down to a last drive and Burrow doing it in front of the whole nation. And that's why I think the Bengals will win it. I think this game will be a classic game. Of the 3 games tomorrow, I think this one will be the closest. I think this one will come down to the final drive. They might all. I don't think the Chiefs and Cowboys will, but they might all. We have the potential at least for 2 for 3, but I think this one is the closest because these two teams, the AFC North, those teams hate each other. And they come out and they play hard no matter what their records are, no matter where they are in the playoff hunt. They come out and try to kill each other. I think this is going to be like a 23-20 game. Let's hope for overtime. But I think it's going to come down to last possession of the game, field goal, boom, go home. Because those two teams, the Bengals have to go on. Both of these teams are on the outside looking in. They have to win. Must win games tomorrow. I think the Bengals, because of Burrow coming back, and the team will be enthused. I'm still that defense is just. I'm so down on that defense. They're so shockingly bad that I'll never believe in that defense. But I believe in Burrow and I believe in Chase, and I think if Higgins comes back, they have the best wide receiver tandem in the league. I mean, the Rams have the number probably second, but these guys are number one for sure. Now we go to our Black Friday game. Are the Bears for real? They're 8-3, and they got the Eagles who are also 8-3. We're going to see on Friday if the Bears are real. What do I think? I don't think so. I think this is the game where the Bears kind of they're going to show that they're a year or two away from being a force in the league. Now, this is the most wide open NFL year I've ever seen, maybe. But I think the Bears are still a year away, maybe 2. They have a great head coach. Ben Johnson's the real deal, I think. And he's got this team in the right direction, and he's got them on schedule. They're gonna lose games like Friday, it won't be a loss, like an empty loss. This will be one of those losses that they will look back on and say, "This is what we have to do better," and they'll improve from games like this. I think the Eagles will probably win this game like 27-17 or something like that. And the Bears are just the Bears are getting there, but they're not there yet. The Eagles are, no matter what anybody says about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is Jared Goff. he has to have that running game going for him to be effective. And when that running game is going, everything opens up. The wide receivers are open. Green is happy. Everything meshes. But it starts with the running game. It starts with those guys up front, that offensive line. They have to push people around. They have to get physical and warmed up. And I think they'll do that against the Bears. So I think it's going to be 27-17 around there. Man, I hope I get one of these games right. Now, 12 o'clock Saturday. I'm going to tell you that I believe that this is the most pressure-packed game between Ohio State, Michigan since that 1-2 that happened in, 2007, 2008? Ohio State, of course, has lost the last 4 games in a row to Michigan. That cannot stand. It doesn't matter how many national championships they win. No matter how many Big Ten championships they win. Coaches in Ohio State, and I think, what was his name? Cooper? I think his name is Wade Cooper, had a winning record at Ohio State in the mid to late 1980s. Couldn't beat Michigan. They fired him. They fucking fired him. This is a game. This is probably the best rivalry in American sports. This is a game that they have circled the minute the game on Saturday ends. They'll circle the date for next year because they cannot wait to kill each other. And this is a game where there is no kneeling on the ball. Oh, no. If you remember, Woody Hayes, there was one game where they destroyed them. They destroyed Michigan. It was like 50-14 or something like that. Woody Hayes scored a late touchdown against Michigan, and he went for 2. Woody Hayes, of course, the legendary Ohio State head coach. He went for 2, and when the press asked him after the game, why'd you go for 2? He says, because I couldn't go for 3. That's where this rivalry is. They fucking hate each other. And Michigan would love nothing better than to derail Ohio State a little bit, because if Ohio State loses this game, it will rip out their hearts. They'll make the playoff. They'll be in the Big Ten championship game, and they'll face Indiana. And I think Indiana are a lot better than people give them credit for. But this game will just leave such a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Now, last year they won the national championship, and that's all everybody else remembers. But Michigan, if you ever saw those signs, the signs all read, Michigan beat the national champs. It's that fucking dagger in the heart. It's that foot up the ass. We're the only team that can beat you. And that hurts. Doesn't matter where, you can have the national championship all you want. When your rival is holding up signs and t-shirts saying, we beat the national champs, or we beat the champ. I mean, you could take the high road and say, fuck them. We're national champ. It fucking hurts. And if they lose Saturday, that'll be 5 in a row. The pressure will be on that head coach like never before. Now, their defense, both teams' defenses are extraordinary. Matt Patricia, who was a bust as a head coach, is now the defense coordinator over there, and he has got that defense fucking humming. I think Ohio State will romp Michigan on Saturday. I don't think they're going to have any mercy on these guys. I think they're going to blow them out. I think they're 11-point favorite. I think they'll cover easy. I think it's going to be a 45-24 type game. They're just going to fucking run them up. And that wide receiver that Ohio State has, what's his name, Smith, he's got to establish himself now as the guy who will be on everybody's draft board. The guy that teams will want to trade up for to get. He's got to be that Jamar Chase, that Jeffries. He's got to establish himself, and it's this game here where he will do it. Ohio State must beat Michigan, and they must beat them emphatically to prepare themselves for the Big Ten championship game, which will be most likely against Indiana in the coming weeks, and they're seeding for the playoff. That's the other most important thing is you want to get that number one seed and get that bye week, rest up a little bit, and then go on from there. Is Michigan still the best team in the country? Yeah, I think so. But I think the two best teams in the country are both in the Big Ten. I think Indiana is awesome. That win against Penn State a couple of weeks ago, that was fucking phenomenal. That kid catching the ball at the end of the back of the end zone like that was crazy. And Cingnetti is a great head coach. Everybody wants him in the NFL. He's not leaving Indiana. They gave him a 9-year contract. He ain't leaving. But Ohio State, all the pressure, all the mounting pressure is on that team on Saturday. They might come out tight. They might make a few mistakes early if Michigan can take advantage of it, which they've done in the past. It might get ugly early. It might keep it close, and Michigan might nip them. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think Ohio State are revved up for this game. I think this is Ohio State's national championship game. Everything else is, as crazy as it sounds, everything else would be gravy once they beat Michigan because they have to beat Michigan. They cannot allow a 5th year in a row to lose to these guys. And you call me nuts. I could see their head coach getting fired if they don't win the national championship. If they lose to Michigan and they don't win the national championship or they don't win the Big Ten title, I could see this guy going because they don't fuck around over there. This is the game. This is it. Those boosters aren't going to tolerate this. He's got to win. And I think they will. All right, to recap, I went a lot longer than I thought I was going to. Lions 31-27 over the Packers. Chiefs are going to romp 38-24 over the boys. Bengals 23-20, classic over the Ravens. Eagles 27-17 over the Bears. Ohio State, I think, are going to romp all over Michigan. It's going to be a tremendous next couple of days. Now, today, of course, this week, we also have the Champions League if you're into soccer. And my team, Inter, played Atletico Madrid. And they disgraced themselves, giving up a goal in the 92nd minute in Madrid, losing 2-1. I mean, what can you fucking say about them? I'm just over it. They can't beat anybody good. Inter Milan and the San Francisco 49ers, my two favorite teams, cannot beat good teams in their respective leagues or in the championship. Can't do it. Can't do it. Inter's lost to Atletico Madrid, Milan, Juventus, Napoli. The 49ers have lost to anybody and everybody who's a couple of games over 500. And I'm fucking over it. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Be grateful for everything you have, especially your health. And be safe tomorrow. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Remember, my friends, Satan is always busy. Be on the lookout. Be a man, have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. Happy Thanksgiving.